Topdon Community. This is Duck. I got a car with a misfire, and this one is a little interesting, but I figured I would take the opportunity to try to show you the advantages of using an oscilloscope. We'll see what happens. Alright, today we're using the Topdon Phoenix Plus, working on a 23 Hyundai Santa Fe. The auto VIN, we'll see what's going on with it, figure out what cylinder's actually misfiring, and go from there. Now, one of the big selling points of this tool for me to buy was actually the topology. I mean, it's a game changer. I love it. But we have one in the ECM. Go here and let's see, cylinder 1 misfire detected. We can't always trust what they're saying is cylinder 1, so we need to verify that. So I see in the scan tool, it shows us that we can disable the ignition coils, and also it gives us the ability to disable the injectors. The thing about this one though, what injectors are they referring to? We look right here, we have this is a GDI and MPI injecting system. So instead of having just 4 for a 4-cylinder, we actually have 8. I believe the top ones are going to be the MPI, and the GDI injectors are actually up under the intake. So let's keep moving. Now, I've already gone through and played Swaptronics. It's the easiest and quickest way to do this. Move the ignition coil 1 to cylinder 2, and then 2 to 1, and then spark plug. And I've already verified that it's not an ignition fault. It's not a misfire caused by the ignition system. And these cars are known to have issues with the actual GDI injectors. So that's where I'm going to go just based off of previous experience. Also, when I unplugged that MPI one and it got better, I'm pretty confident that mechanically the engine's okay. Also, one thing that I noticed messing with this thing is that if I do unplug this MPI injector, it's got a lot better. But the thing is whenever I cut the car back off and then cut it back on, we're going to have that misfire still. Alright, so we could use the scan tool and try to see if we can disable injectors and the ignition coils, but a quick and easy way to do this is called the old school method of cylinder drop testing. Okay? So I'm assuming this is going to be 2. I'm going to unplug this, and we have that change. So obviously we have contribution from this cylinder. Now, suspected issue, for 1, if I unplug it, we have no change. So right there, I just verified that this cylinder is the problem. Now, I can't tell you if it's fuel or ignition related or mechanical related just yet, but there's ways to find out. Alright, so testing the MPI injectors are very easy. We can get right to those suckers, and I've already done a continuity check on the actual injectors here and here, verified that they are about the same spec. It doesn't mean that they're actually good and firing, but it's something that I can do very easy, very quickly. Now this is where the power of the oscilloscope comes into play. If I wanted to test the GDI injectors, you're looking at removing that intake manifold if you didn't know how to do this with a scope. And luckily on this vehicle, this junction connector right here actually is what feeds the GDI injectors and regulator and whatever else. So I can actually just tap into here and test from here. Alright, so with the wire diagram pulled up, I've already verified using the wiring colors that this is actually the MPI injector. Where I need to be going is right here. Okay, this is the one that I suspect is bad. Okay, so what we're going to do is that junction connector I showed you earlier is going to be CC11, and we're going to pull this up, get the pin out for it, and then see what we can find. Alright, so we got the engine running, we got the misfire, and let's scope lead down to battery, rule of thumb, and I am just back probing to the GDI injector for cylinder 1. I am using a picoscope, the cheaper version of it, the 2-channel, just starter scope with the attenuator. And as you see, we got nothing right now. Okay, I cut the car off and now I cut it back on, and now we have some kind of pattern. I'm wondering if it's going to disable that injector here in a second. There's a misfire, and it just cut her off. Okay, so this is, I'm actually plugged into cylinder 1, the multi-bar injector. So it looks like a really good pattern from what I can tell. I'm really curious of it shutting off the GDI system. So this is the cylinder 1 and 2 of the MPI injectors, and I'm just pretty much just comparing the way they look. And to be honest with you, I don't see an issue with the MPI. When I start the car, it runs for a little bit and then it shuts off the GDI system. I'm going to try to capture something really quickly before it does shut it off, and then try to come up with some direction. Okay, so I unplugged the MPI injector, and now we have restored some kind of wave pattern. I'm going to inspect it further and then compare it to another one, so hang tight. Alright guys, this is the cylinder 1 injector firing with the MPI injector. From the best that I can gather is that if there's an issue with either the GDI system or the MPI system, it literally shuts off the other one. So I think what's happening is that it's detecting the misfire from the GDI injector, and it's running off the MPI. And now the misfire is back, and here's our MPI. But I guarantee if I go over to the GDI injector and I scope that out, we're not going to have a pattern because it's already cut off. So after plugging it back in, we come back and we look, and it shut off the MPI injector. So now it's running off the GDI system. The engine seems to be running normal, but there's a fault in the GDI system. So the only anomaly that I could actually find when the GDI injectors were functioning was this one right here. And this is actually on cylinder 2. And if we look over here at cylinder 1, those are pretty consistent across the board. So obviously there's a misfire. It's not ignition, and it's fuel. The vehicle is smart enough to shut off the GDI system whenever it encounters a fault, and it runs off the MPI, vice versa. Now, I'm not sure why the misfire disappears, probably because whenever it tries to run the strategy for both, it can't keep up, or it's seeing something it doesn't like and it just turns them off. But I'm going to replace all these GDI injectors.